You sit on the sofa, scrolling through your phone in endless loops, and when a familiar photo appears, your finger pauses for a moment, yet no emotion stirs. That is the person you once loved deeply, smiling with ease and naturalness, as if they never sank into the emotions that engulfed you both. You stare at the photo for a few seconds, your eyes do not well up, your heartbeat does not quicken, and you even close the app with a gentle motion. You have not let go. Rather, your body has learned to shut down responses, to silence all signals that might reveal pain. After the breakup, you did not cry hysterically, slam doors, or do anything dramatic. You simply quietly put away their toothbrush, emptied the shared fridge compartment, and replaced the bedsheet you both chose after much deliberation. You handled everything as if it was someone else's story, packing away all their belongings one by one, wiping the table clean, and continuing with life. Your friends say you managed it well, calling you decisive and clear-headed, and you nod with a smile, saying it's nothing, as if you truly feel that way. No one knows that at 3 a.m. you suddenly wake up just because in your dream they called out hey to you. No one knows that in the shower you bury your face in the water, not because it is cold, but to muffle any sound of crying. No one knows that occasionally you still unconsciously open the shared document they used, staring at their annotations all night. You never tell anyone these things because you are accustomed to others do not need to know. You go to work as usual, eat as usual, update social media as usual, and even manage to tell jokes in lively gatherings. You know when to act unfazed, when to smile, and when to appear mature in handling emotions. You are so skilled at this that even you almost forget you once cried in front of others and once hoped someone would comfort you rather than praise your composure. In the days when everything on the surface seems back to normal, you find yourself increasingly unfamiliar with the person you have become. You have not moved on. You have simply locked the screaming part of yourself deep inside, preventing it from making a sound. You walk down the street looking no different from anyone living a good life. But only you know your chest holds a dud bomb that will never explode. Occasionally, you wish someone could see through you and say, I know you are still hurting, but when everyone assumes you have let go, you hesitate to disrupt their expectations. You fear that admitting I am not okay yet would make others see you as weak, or even make you feel, am I being too dramatic? You become better at performing, acting as someone who shines again after a breakup, who lives better after loss, who never cared that much. As you perform, you truly forget that you are actually in great pain. You hesitate for a second when ordering, then still choose the pasta they loved most, only realizing when the food arrives that you do not like cream sauce. You pause in the supermarket aisle, glance at the lemon soda they always drank, then casually put it back. You move to a new place, yet left an empty spot in the upper right corner of your desk in the new room, as if accustomed to their water cup and earphones being there. You open the curtains, and in the instant sunlight floods in, you suddenly feel as if you are acting in a play called Returning to Normal, with every movement following a rehearsed path. When friends invite you to dinner, you always say, I have been great lately, even if you cried until 5 a.m. The night before, you can always say in a steady voice, I have let go. Even on the day they send how have you been, and you stare at the screen for 40 minutes without typing a word. You grow used to the walk home alone, no longer expecting the phone to ring or refreshing the silent chat window. You look in the mirror each morning and tell yourself, I am doing well, but you know it is just a line you repeat day after day. You begin avoiding any topics related to them, not because you do not care, but because mentioning them would betray you with your eyes. You find yourself smiling more, with just the right amount, not enough to arouse suspicion or seem forced, like a recording with carefully adjusted volume. You are always the first to say it's okay, even when something shatters your heart, smiling and saying I understand. You are always the last to leave gatherings because you fear the drop when returning to an empty room. Alone would make you suddenly recall what you are enduring. You scroll through short videos late at night until your eyes ache, and the moment emotions threaten to surge, you quickly switch to another channel to distract yourself, like an emergency brake. You have learned to control your tear points precisely, allowing breakdown only in the shower, on the subway, or in silent places. You tell no one that the handwritten letter they gave you lies under your pillow, unopened yet never discarded. You know the world prefers clean and decisive people, so you stop saying you miss them, stop mentioning dreams of them, and certainly do not admit you never deleted their contact. You maintain the appearance of doing well, using smiles, humor, and busyness to cover all pain. You even learn to make excuses for them, saying maybe they are hurting too. We really were not suited, or I was too sensitive. You compress nights meant for crying, grievances meant for voicing, moments meant for anger, all into one held breath, and over time, even you forget your true reactions. You refuse to admit you are still in pain, because you fear that once you let go, everything you have suppressed will rush out and swallow you whole. You fear collapse, not because of fragility, but because you know no one will catch you. You do not avoid expression. Your body has simply habituated to closing the channel at peak pain. You have learned to switch instantly to rational processing mode the moment emotions fluctuate, like a built-in emergency response system. You tell yourself, this is not a big deal, do not overreact, it won't kill you. Then use logic to calm your heartbeat and order to mask the breakage. This automatic response did not start now. It is a survival strategy you have used since long ago. Perhaps as a child, you tried crying to express sadness, only to hear do not be so fragile. Perhaps you earnestly voiced your needs, only to get why are you so difficult. Over time you learned that some emotions once spoken carry risk, being ignored, invalidated, even ridiculed. Thus you developed a highly protective mechanism. Compress all feelings that might lead to loss of control. Lock them away and stay still. This is not cowardice or indifference. It is the self-regulation you had to learn in that moment to survive. Psychology calls such patterns defense mechanisms, but they are not bad. They are armor naturally formed after relational injury. Whenever emotions threaten to overflow, this system activates automatically, making you appear strong, mature, and unneeding of emotional support. You are not truly unmoved. You simply learned too early that feeling deeply leads to loss of control, and no one helps clean up after. You do not lack need for companionship. Your heart has long defaulted to wanting closeness equals risk of rejection. You do not believe expressing vulnerability yields embrace. Instead, you feel showing emotion makes one contemptible. This logic sounds cruel, but to you, it is real to the bone. You are not suppressing pain. You are protecting yourself from being ignored again, losing control again, breaking down again. You seem to avoid hurt, but actually, you combat a deeper anxiety. Do I have the right to grieve? Am I worth caring about? You chose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because the words you spoke were repeatedly dropped on the floor, unpicked and unheard. You have emotions. You simply learn to hide them where no one sees, like concealing a stone that could explode any moment. You even begin to feel suppression is safe, expression a luxury. Thus you continue playing the role of mostly okay, stable, considerate, reliable in front of others, silently collapsing and self-repairing alone. You may occasionally wonder if you are really sick or overreacting, But please pause and hear this. All your defenses are never flaws. They are instinctive responses you made when you had no choice to avoid collapse. You did not intentionally hide emotions. You simply have not found a place safe enough to open your wounds and let them breathe. You remember that time you tried expressing your feelings, only to be interrupted mid-sentence with a laugh, and you are too sensitive. You did not cry then, just nodded and swallowed the emotion back. You thought it was just a small disappointment, but from then on, you grew hesitant about voicing your feelings. You began thinking 3 seconds extra before speaking, wondering if this emotion would make you seem too emotional, spark conflict, or lead to abandonment. You began telling yourself, hold it in a bit more, just a bit more, and it will pass before every tear. You remember sending a long message about how upset you were, only to get do not overthink and then silence. That day, you stared at the screen for a long time as it lit and dimmed, finally deleting all you had typed, turning off the light, and holding the emotion until dawn alone. In that instant, you realized emotions are not allowed, especially yours. Thus, you built wall after an invisible wall, hiding the real you behind. Learning to smile, I am fine. Learning to always hold steady in front of others. You grew used to listening, shrinking yourself smaller, even valuing quiet as a virtue. What you fear is not sadness, but the empty response after sadness, which hurts more than the emotion itself. You remember someone asking, "Why are you always so calm?" You wanted to say, "Because if I cry, I am called trouble. If I share my heart, I am a burden." But you did not. You just smiled and said, "Maybe I am more rational." Then you knew in your world emotions are unsafe, carrying a price. So you learned to split yourself in two. One half the outwardly stable you, the other half quietly holding breath in the dark. You never blame anyone for making you this way, because you understood early that sometimes silence is safer than collapse. You gradually stop waiting for anyone to understand your sadness, accustomed to the outcome of no one gets it. You tell yourself, less expression means less disappointment, less need means less collapse. You begin automatically yielding in relationships. At the first sign of conflict you retreat, not fearing argument, but having decided expression unaccepted is better left unsaid. You learn to walk away when angry, say it's okay when wronged, silently lower expectations when ignored. You do not press why a message is late, do not dwell on an unresolved fight. You simply reduce enthusiasm and expectations from that moment. You do not stop caring. You simply understand too well that expression makes relationships dangerous. And to preserve them, you sacrifice yourself first. You use considerate, emotionally stable, not clingy to maintain connections, yet lock the real you in ever deeper shells. You find yourself adept at compressing emotions, folding long sadness into a casual "it's fine." You no longer fully believe someone will truly understand you. So you show only the safest parts, polite, rational, untroublesome. Over time, even you forget the you who once cried willingly and dared lose control ever existed. You live like someone always ready to withdraw, outwardly warm and approachable, inwardly always on guard against anything that could dismantle you again. You begin prioritizing others' needs, packing yours in a corner, asking what they need first and seeing what space remains for you. You begin feeling loving others is easy, being loved a burden. You even tell yourself, maybe I am someone who does not need care. You thought this was maturity, only later realizing it is internal injury from repeatedly practicing reducing your presence. You are not strong. You fear becoming the one tired of, so you self-delete first. You live calmly to bearing emotions in logic, writing grievances into routine, turning pain into silence. You blend in crowds unremarkably, always considering others' feelings first, even walking softly. You lurk in group chats, smile, and agree at meals. Turn off lights alone at night, hugging your empty self to sleep. You are not indifferent. You are too familiar with disappointment, so you seal all channels that could be abandoned in advance. You do not lack need for company. You equate needing with troubling, so you grit your teeth through lonely nights alone. You do not refuse to cry. You simply lack a safe enough place to collapse securely for too long. You are not too sensitive. Others never truly approached, so they miss the weight of years of silence behind your slight reactions. You are not difficult. You hide emotions too hard, careful not to burden anyone, creating distance. You are not calm. You habituated to tidying yourself before others say you are too emotional, presenting decency, propriety, serenity. You slowly learn not to berate the cautious self and understand why you do this. You begin telling yourself, you are not cowardly, you are surviving. You finally stop using, I must be stronger to suppress emotions, gently saying, you have endured enough, you can relax. You begin understanding suppression is not your fault. It is how you rewrote yourself for love. And now you can finally choose. No longer punish yourself, doubt yourself, shame yourself for not being over it. You begin loosening the must be strong belief, allowing yourself to say, I am still hurting, and that is not shameful. You stop forcing forgetfulness, learning to coexist peacefully with memories, no longer fearing a song or a street corner. You stop asking, when will I fully let go? Understanding some relationships are not released, but placed in a heart corner, quietly staying without disturbing. You loosen the tight grip on must, no longer feeling you must smile sooner or live better to prove victory. You stop blocking questions with I feel nothing, calmly saying the long unsaid, I was indeed hurt. You pick up hidden fragments again, slowly piecing a complete self, not new, but more authentic. You no longer rush to explain or make everyone understand your pain. What matters is you finally admit it. You begin practicing new connections with the world, not to fill voids, but because you no longer fear exposing softness. You begin saying, I am not great, without panic, shame, or seeing it as failure. You finally know you can grieve, be imperfect, choose gentleness, even when misunderstood. You can start over, not from zero, but carrying these cracks, continuing onward. You begin understanding, healing is not sudden brilliance, but one day no longer tensely avoiding paths, no longer secretly missing in the night. Then softly saying, I am still here, but I am slowly getting better. You slowly discover what you thought unforgettable no longer dominates. Names you dared not speak become brief ripples in the wind. You begin returning life to yourself, not handing it to some past relationship. You no longer prove anything to anyone. You are quietly restoring yourself. You finally understand, healing is not becoming someone new. It is remembering who you were before fear.